guys, Sandra here and welcome to my channel. If you're not new, hello friend. And you're going to need this stamp set for this DIY as well as the die, but the die is optional, a roll of magnet tape or whatever type of magnet stuff you have that you know works well. The next thing you will need is some inks. Any inks of your choosing will do. These are just ones I had in my craft stash, aka hoard, and some heavyweight paper. I'm just using 100-pound cardstock. And next you will also need an acrylic block. Any acrylic block will do. I'm actually going to be using my Misty tool, which does exactly the same thing as an acrylic block. It just makes it easier for lining things up if you want to stamp your image several times. So don't be intimidated if you just have an acrylic block or even a plastic CD case that you're using. That's perfectly okay, whatever you have in your stash. Now I'm just removing the clear stamp to position it where I want to stamp it. If you're new to stamping, I do have a Stamping 101 video that I will link in the description box below. As you can see, the clear stamp sticks to that acrylic block, and that's the whole purpose of having something to put your stamp on so that you can stamp it easier. But like I said, I'm just using this little tool. Now that I'm just lining it up and I have my paper where I want it, I'm just going to close the lid, which acts like an acrylic block because it just holds onto it, and I'm putting the smallest amount of pressure. I really love this tool just because it just makes the guesswork of stamping a lot easier, and if you want to restamp things several times you can do it, but clear stamps are made so that you can stamp them over and over again just by lining them up because that's why they're clear. So it's pretty easy to use, so don't be intimidated. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below for me, you guys. Now I'm just saturating my little stamp with ink. I'm just using, I believe it's called Orange County. It's by Hero Arts. And like I said, I will leave the links in the description box below. And I put a little pad under my little Misty just to get an even flow of ink and have it just be balanced on that. But right now, as you can see, I'm just stamping it, and I got my image, but I wanted it to be a little bit darker, so that's where my Misty comes in. But like I said, you can do this with your acrylic block just by lining it up over. It's actually quite easy, and you guys who watch my videos have seen me do it a bunch of times with just my random acrylic block. So you can definitely do that on your own. So now that I have my image nice and stamped, now I'm ready for the really fun part, you guys. And that's getting my little page marker ready to go. Now there's only going to be a few more steps, but this is quite simple. I went ahead and stamped out the other images. You can stamp out as many as you want and make all kinds. I'm getting my dies ready. Dies need to be used with a die cutting machine. I'm using my Cuttlebug. You do not have to purchase the die if you do not have a die cutting machine and don't want to invest in one. Even though I think that if you like paper crafting or if you like planner stuff, it does make sense to eventually have one. So that's just my personal opinion and tip to you. But I'm just using these dies because it makes it easier to just do this. It's one step, you put it in your machine, roll it through, and you have your image perfectly cut. Now I could definitely do this with my scissor, and I will definitely be doing it with my scissor for you guys so that you can see how easy it is. And if you still want to purchase the actual stamp set, then you can definitely do that and not necessarily get the die because obviously it would be a big investment if you don't already have the machine itself. But I definitely think it's worth the investment as far as getting the machine and everything that you need so that you can constantly just make your own DIY stuff, because I know I enjoy doing it. So now that those are ready, as you can see, that was really quickly, I'm going to just cut this on camera for you guys. Obviously it's time-lapse because I don't like speed cut things, but what you really want to do is, if you plan on cutting things yourself by hand, is have just a very good sharp pair of scissors that you use only for paper, as well as keeping in mind that you're going to be moving the paper around but leaving the scissor in the same angle, because that's how you can get really good angles when you're cutting things. And make sure not to cut small things like, let's say, in between the whiskers and things, because even the die pieces themselves, you don't cut in between the whiskers because those bits are very small and you're not going to notice them in the grand scheme of things, so you can just leave them as is. I mean, unless it really bothers you and you want to try and do that, but for me it's fine. I like the way that it looks, and it's just really quickly, you know, that I'm doing this and creating this piece myself, so just so that you guys can see that if you just want to cut it and you don't have a die cut machine, that is an option for you, so don't let that stop you. Next I'm going to be using my laminator, and I'm just getting this baby on and ready to go so that by the time I have my pieces ready to be put in, it's warm enough. You want to make sure and have it on for at least like 10 minutes so that it gets warm, and the green light will come on when it gets warm if you have kind of like a similar type of laminator. Most laminators you have to prep them ahead of time. And the laminator sheet itself is quite large, so I'm cutting it into pieces because I want to have just a small piece. I don't want to waste a huge laminator sheet just for some small pieces. Of course, if you don't want to do that, you can skip this step, but I'm not one to waste things, so I just decided to cut it down and start getting my pieces ready. To get my pieces ready, what I'm going to be doing is basically cutting them down the middle and then putting them inside the sleeve itself. The reason I'm cutting them down the middle though is because I'm going to leave just this very small minimal gap in between them, so that when I basically add pressure and push them in half, that it's going to just basically give me a better page marker, and it's not going to have a lot of resistance, because I have made these before without cutting them in half, and I find that they don't hold up as well with the magnet when you don't do this, and you really don't notice the slit at all because of how small it is when it's on the actual page. So I definitely recommend that you do not skip this step, because then you're going to see what I saw when I did this on my own the first time and I wasn't filming it. So that's just a little tip for you. And like I said, the slit itself is quite tiny, so you really don't need to leave a large gap, and you just want to make sure that you really line them up properly and you don't have them, off, because then obviously it's going to be slightly off when you actually have your page markers. Even though obviously if it was a little bit off, I don't think you'd be able to tell completely, because as you will see, the page markers on one side and the other ones on the other, but the more lined up you have it, the better. And now that my machine is ready to go, I'm going to be putting these babies inside there, and just a little close-up so you guys can see that the slit is quite small. So now I'm going to be running these through my machine. So I did run these through my laminator twice, just, to make sure that they were extra sealed in there. And I did end up cutting these off camera, but I would definitely say that make sure that you don't cut too close to the paper, leave a little rim of plastic going all around them, that's all right. It's better to be safer than sorry and to end up cutting through one of them, and you really don't barely notice that at all, so that's just a little tip for you guys. And now my little guys are ready to go. They're so freaking cute. So I have this magnet tape, and it is self-adhesive, so I'm sticking them down there, but I would definitely say after trial and error that if you want to add some more glue just in case, I would maybe do that, maybe use some E6000 or Tombow Mono Multi or whatever you have in your stash that you know is a good glue. I will link anything below in case you guys are in the market for a good glue, because I've tried pretty much almost every glue out there as a paper crafter, so that's just the nature of the game, and I do have them. Now that these are ready to go, I want to show you guys how cute they look inside your planner. And really, you could customize these as however you want. You could add more detail, you could make them match your pages by color. So really, the possibilities are endless, you guys. I really love this stamp set and the die. I will link in the description box below this company. I love them. I'm not paid to say this or sponsored or anything like that. I just really love these products, and I really wanted to work with them and create these to show you guys how cool it is that you can kind of customize and make things for your planner yourselves, and it's just really fun. And I really enjoy doing this. As always, if you guys like these DIY videos or have any ideas for anything else you'd like to see me make, leave in the comments below. Be sure and like this video so that I know you guys want to see more. I also love to hear from you guys and your comments. It's always great to hear from you guys. And if you follow me on Instagram, or you have an Instagram or on Facebook, and you decide to create some of these, be sure and tag me and let me know that you guys decided to make something with it, because I love to see you guys get inspiration from different videos. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye!